What is good, everyone? Happy Thursday evening to everybody watching. Welcome back. Good to see y'all in the chat already popping per usual. That's what y'all do. Thank you for that. Stilly Matt. It's Barb here. We're Barb at. It's okay, Barb. I know you'll be watching later. We still love you. If you can't watch live, it's all good. Grandpa Buck. We got all the usuals in here cooking up the chat already. Listen, go ahead, like the video. That's the first thing we're going to do. Get that out the way. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. We are moving towards our goal of 40K subs. We're inching close to 37. Matter of fact, I haven't even checked. We might even be at 37, but we're very close. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. Also, we have, drum roll please, brrr, we got 23 Tyus Palow days left until kickoff versus Texas. Listen, I could have went with a few different ones, but I always liked Tyus Palow. Like, he was a great interview when he was here. He was a solid player. Malik Hooker, no, he's not like a freaky athlete, like, oh my God, first round draft pick, but he was solid as they came and a fun dude. I remember him calling Cardale Jones his son, my son Cardale. I mean, he's just a funny dude, and he's doing the great things here on local radio 97.1 The Fan. And he has some key plays. He made a key interception against the team up north in the Big Blouse. Remember 2013 when our defense was a sieve? He saved that game. Also, he had the interception to close out the Alabama game, which he tried to return, which was probably ill-advised. But Tyus has made some plays, and he's just a likable dude, man. So I went with Tyus Palow for the 23 days left. And then also remember, Super chats go to our pay it forward, our military, our first responders. You know what we're going to do? We're going to take care of them because they take care of us. Amen. Nevada, what's up, brother? How you feel about that Tyus pick?
Well, I mean, if all he made was that play at the end of the 13th game against Michigan, then he's got it for, because I you know how you get feelings before certain plays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, no, my feeling was they were going to score. There was
Yeah.
no doubt in my mind that they were going to score and we were going to lose that game by 1, and my entire day was going to be ruined, and I was going to be in a bad mood, and I was going to be like, oh man, I mean, I had completely prepared myself for that,
Yeah.
and then Tyvus did that. So I mean, that was certainly a memorable play. And yeah, the end of the Alabama game, I don't know if you remember, but the end of the Alabama game, we go ahead, you get the big run, the 85 yards to the heart of the South, everything. And then the game should be over, but Urban Meyer calls like a long pass, and we
Yes, I
threw
remember.
it.
Yep.
We threw it, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, we actually gave them the ball back
Yep. And
with
they scored.
they had time. They had time to kind of do it. And it's like, holy guacamole, man. It was like, I mean, could we possibly pull defeat from the jaws of victory? And then Tyvus makes the interception, starts running around, and everybody in Columbus is screaming at the top of their lungs, get down, Tyvus, get down. But yeah, no, great
Yeah.
selection. 23 days, man. Wow. Um, that's
Right
just
here.
so fast. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Let's get going.
And you know what? I lost track of my touchdowns. I think Amari Cooper scored before that and got him closer. Then we threw it and gave it back to him. They had a chance to. I think they would have had to go for 2, right? If they scored.
They would have to go for 2, but they shouldn't even got the ball back though. We should have
I
just been able
agree.
to like take a knee, and
Yes.
then that's the end of the game.
Yes.
Like, holy,
Yeah.
like, come
Urban was
on, man.
tripping. He was tripping on. I remember that. I'm like, dude, like, just come on, man. So yeah, that game was too nerve-wracking. Even though it was semi in control, it was way too nerve-wracking at the end because of that. I agree. So yeah, shout out to Tyus Palow, man. I like that guy, and he made some plays here, so I appreciate him. But yeah, speaking of making some plays here, we're going to talk about our running back, James Peoples. Is he the next great running back at Ohio State? That is the question we're asking, and we're going to kind of talk through. And so, listen, we've been hearing some really, really good things. Not everything is said in the media, but we'll be here behind the scenes from coaches, from, some folks who would know this dude, he is set to go off. And I still don't think, I don't know. I think people are kind of Nevada, you tell me your perception on the outside, the public. I think the excitement for him is kind of, he might be all right, but we got these receivers though. I think it's kind of like that. But I think people need to have more expectations, and we're going to get into that in just a moment. But what's your perception of what you hear from the public? I know what we hear, but what do you hear from the public?
Yeah, I think people are definitely, I don't know if it's lukewarm, but definitely kind of like wait and see, or I'd say definitely tempered enthusiasm about the entire running back room. And I'm kind of the opposite. I'm kind of, like, we'll talk about James Peoples and we'll talk about that, but I want to talk about the entire room as well, because we got a lot of dudes in that room that can
Yeah.
that they can put it down. But James is a guy that's getting a lot of buzz, and I always say, the players know who the players are. When you talk to the players, they're, to a person, they just rave about him. They rave about his blocking ability, his breakaway speed. I don't think he has. We've talked about it before. He doesn't have the top end of a tray. Nobody had the top end of a tray, but this is a guy who can take it to that. I mean, Antonio Pittman, one of both of our favorite players, is kind of a pretty good comparable for him. Can run it, can catch it, great blocker, explosive, can run it inside, can run it outside. I'm excited about everything about James Peoples, and I think, frankly, when we talk about the Texas game, when we talk about our path to victory in terms of beating them, and you and I have always talked about JJ Smith and Julian Sain and Max Clare and Carnell Tate, and and the whole gang. You know, the key to beating Texas may be just lining it up and running the football at those guys.
Yeah.
And we've got the offensive line to do that. And we've got the running back to do that, because James Peoples is a bad man. So if you're a fan and you're looking at this Ohio State team and you're kind of looking around the roster, and you're not excited about the running back room in general, or James Peoples in particular, I think you're making a mistake, because I think you should get excited, because this guy is a special talent. We haven't seen a whole lot of him in the past, but I'm telling you, I think the helping technician had picked him to have 1,500 yards this year. I think that's right. I think he's going to have a really, really big year, as an integral part of a very talented Ohio State backfield. But yeah, James Peoples definitely the man.
Yep. And so let me tell you, I know coaches, and listen, coaches are going to, until a player just breaks out. Now, listen, the cat's out of the bag for Jeremiah Smith now, right? So the acknowledgement of how great he is, it's less tempered. It was a little tempered last year. Ryan Day and Hartline tried to play it cool, even though behind the scenes, like, yo, we got us what? Yo, this kid is nasty. They're not about to come out and say that. He needs to go out and play. But I'm telling you, this staff loves James Peoples, and the players, talking to the players, some of the players, they love him. And they just like, yo, he's a dog. Okay. One thing I want to clear up as well, not really clear up, but just kind of elaborate on what Nevada's saying. I don't want y'all to get it twisted when we say he doesn't have the top end speed of Trey Henderson. I'm going to repeat what Nevada said. Not many do. Okay. We don't want you thinking this dude ain't got speed. He's fast. And talking to some of the players, they were talking about how fast he was. Like, he's fast. And so in the open field, he can break them off. Look at this film. This is Texas football, okay? And I'm going to pull up his numbers. He got some really impressive numbers as well in a minute. But he has really good speed. Again, Henderson against Texas in discrete pass, that's just ridiculous. Otherworldly. I mean, he was pure. But James Peoples ain't that far behind. He don't got quite that, but he can run. And so I just wanted to make sure we were clear on that. But yes, with James Peoples, man, I'm looking at this film and even seeing his growth, the body by Maradi. And I'm going to put up a pic of him in a minute to remind you of the progression, because this dude is a unit out there now. And you know what, Nevada? My comp for him was J.K. Dobbins, okay? At least how he looks, his appearance. Now, I don't know if he has the jump cut ability that J.K. had, because that was just next level. But his size and his ability to cut back, I think, is a good comp. But you said Pittman as well. I think Pittman is also a very good comp because nobody in history, and you tell me if you agree with this, they don't look at Pittman as a burner, but he constantly broke long runs, did he not? I think Peoples is going to be in that similar fashion. What you think about that?
Well, I think what Peoples does that Antonio did. Antonio used to hit the holes at full speed. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
he went through the holes at full speed, and I don't remember Antonio Pittman ever getting caught from behind. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So yeah, he may not be. Again, Trey Henderson, like he was a unicorn. He was an absolute. Lots of great things about him as a running back. But I agree with you. I think James Peoples has definitely got. He'll make big plays, and when he gets out there, he's not getting caught from behind, and he's even sneaky fast because he hits the hole so hard. And not every running back does. Some running backs, they shy up a little bit going through the holes. They have to anticipate. Like, he's just got that God-given ability to to know where the holes are going to be, and he hits them with reckless abandon, runs it, and doesn't fumble. And I hate to even
Yeah.
say that because I'm sure I'll jinx him in terms of he'll do the Eddie George against Illinois as a freshman and fumble 3 times, and we'll be like, Nevada, what are you talking about? Um, but obviously the Buckeyes are big on ball security. That's a big thing for Coach Locke, big thing for every football team. But this is a kid that he can just do it all, and I've just been really excited. I'm excited about what I'm hearing because when you hear stuff like that, that's usually the guy that's going to break out. That's usually the guy that's going to make a name for himself and really become kind of a household name, become one of those guys, those stars right out of the bat. And I think James is going to be that guy. And you've got a rookie play caller in Brian Hartline. You've got a rookie quarterback in Julian Sane. And man, we talk about the tight end being your best friend. Well, a great running game is your best friend as well because you can establish that running game, sets up play action, makes them play the game a little bit more honest on the outside, and then you start hurting them through the air. So no, he's going to be a big part. But look, it's a super talented backfield. So I want to talk about some of the other guys and just to kind of show you how James has kind of separated himself. But you've got CJ Donaldson, who slimmed down, looks really good. They've done a heck of a job on strength and
Yeah.
conditioning with him, and he's a proven Division 1 running back and a guy that's going to be able to maybe he's chip train him or whatever it is, but he's going to be a good running back for us. But you know. Everybody's talking about Bo, Bo Jackson. Obviously, I think Bo's been slowed a little bit by that knee injury, but Turbo Rogers, man, don't sleep on Turbo Rogers because
Yes.
that's another name when you talk to the guys, they're like, oh boy, this is a guy that can pick them up and put them down. And talk about a guy that does have the breakaway speed, the guy that ain't getting caught from behind. That's Turbo. But James is he's a little bigger, a little stronger, a little bit more complete. But boy, we've got a good running back room of guys that can all bring a little bit of something. But James Peoples is absolutely the bell cow and the guy that's going to get the lion's share of the carries. But you need two. Look how we played it last year. Trey Henderson goes his first 3 years, and one of the big things was the injury bug. Couldn't keep a season healthy. Going through the year because think about the running back position. Uh, the running back position, almost by definition, you finish every play that you carry the ball on the ground with like 6 guys laying on top of you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, I don't know how any human being plays that position and stays healthy. I really don't. Like
Yeah.
guys you just lining it up and just smacking the heck out of you, and you're landing on the hard ground with guys just pounding you. Um, so you need at least 2 guys that can do it, and you're probably a pair and a spare to do it. And the good news is Ohio State's got that because I have total trust in CJ Donaldson. I really am hearing great things about Turbo Rogers, and I've always been a big Bo Jackson fan. So I think James Peoples is going to have a lot of help. He's going to be able to stay fresh. He's going to stay healthy, and when we need him come playoff time, he'll be ready to fire and do great things. So yeah, I'm certainly excited to see what he can do.
Absolutely. And I want to show this picture so you can see the progression. Look at this dude. Okay. Now you saw the high school film, and some of you who follow recruiting saw his size then. This dude, let me tell you what I said when I saw him in person. Because I did a write-up on BuckeyeScoop.com. I went to the practice and basically just gave some notes on my thoughts. And I said his burst jumps out at you, and defenders better tackle him low because he's running through high tackles with those jacks from Mortal Kombat arms. Gotta wrap him up or he will run through you. And so, I don't see the difference between this picture and this picture. It's the same picture, like the Office meme, Nevada. The chick from the Office, and it's the same picture. It's the
What
same picture.
can you put the picture of you in your high school basketball uniform and him kind of like side by side or something like that? Because that to me, that's the comp. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I saw it, I was looking at it and I was kind of going, it's B Moses. I mean, it's a young B Moses. That's what it is.
Not at all. Not at all. I'm still kind of thin. I put on some old man weight now, but I was a rail back then. My metabolism, I was just pure and pure, just burning. I was skinny. This is the opposite of Jax of what I was.
You
But
didn't have
that's
body
funny.
by you didn't have body by Marathi though. You didn't have body by Marathi. You didn't have unlimited meals and everything else like that, all that
Right.
stuff like that. But
Unlimited
I mean,
training table and all types of steaks and breads, and you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I didn't have that advantage. But yeah, this dude, James Peoples, is just, I mean, again, you can't tackle him high. And I saw that in person as well. And so not only do you have that speed, he gets upfield quick. He hits the hole. To me, I can see one thing I was impressed with last year in spot duty. He definitely fell forward. He rarely got tackled in the backfield. There's that. And then also he showed really good vision on some plays. He scored on 2 plays where he followed his blocker and showed really good vision. And so he's only going to get better with that. But now he's even more physically built so that you can't really, I mean, the stiff arm game, the upper body game, along with that speed is going to be crazy. But Nevada, skipping over to Turbo Rogers, in my write-up, he was the first one I actually touched on because he jumped out at me at practice. Number 21, I mean, he jumped out. And I was just like, whoa, who's that? I had to look it up at 21, Turbo Rogers. I'm like, oh, he looks good, Nevada. I mean, to me, I said this, if he was on another team, let's say he was on Purdue, he would probably be in the rotation and getting carries. Like he looked that impressive. Now he's still young. He has a lot to learn, but I'm telling you, this backfield, and then don't get me started on Bo Jackson, because even in the film, they had Coach Locke mic'd up earlier today. I mean, he looked good in that too. Bo Jackson looked good as well. I mean, this backfield, young and green, these guys look the part though. Like, straight up, the future of the running back room is incredible. And one last thing I'll say to remind folks, James Peoples was the number 1 guy on our board. I know people wanted Jordan Marshall from Ohio. I wanted him too. He's a good back. I wanted both of them. But James Peoples is who I wanted first. He was my number 1 back, and Jordan Marshall too. We came in late on Marshall. We made a hard push towards the end on Marshall, and he ended up going to Scum, our team up north. But Peoples is who we wanted number 1. He had more explosiveness, more burst. And to me, I mean, he was ranked higher. Not that always matters. I'm just saying Peoples is the guy we wanted out of Texas. And Texas recruited him hard. And I was actually talking to his mother at practice. We had a nice little conversation. And she was just saying how hard Texas recruited him and how fired up James is for this game. So don't forget about that factor, y'all. Obviously, it's the opening week. He's a new starter. There's already excitement with that. But going against your home team and how she like the proud look in her eye, like you could tell like he's ready to eat when I was talking to her. So that got me even more excited, Nevada, about this game.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because he was the guy that, when Quinshawn decided to come to Ohio State out of nowhere last year,
Yeah.
because if you guys remember, that seemed like the longest of long shots. When he announced he was transferring, I would add Ohio State at the bottom of the potential, landing spots for him, especially with Trey returning. Um, but all of a sudden he comes, and the challenge with the transfer portal is you're immediately thinking, well, what's the impact on a guy like James Peoples? Does he,
Right.
because last year could have been his time. Instead, he had to be patient, learn from those guys, sit there and wait to be the guy, and he did it. And I just have mad respect for somebody who does that and doesn't just kind of, oh, I'm not playing right now. I'm going to take my ball and go away. But yeah, he's been waiting a long time. seemingly, in these days with kids who want instantaneous gratification, but this is his moment. I mean, he's the guy, he's the man, and you're playing a 1 versus 2 game against your hometown school. I mean, it doesn't get much bigger than that. And
Yeah.
to Turbo Rogers, it's funny you use the Purdue example because I remember I still have nightmares of, I think it was 2019? No,
Eight,
what year did we
18?
lose?
I think it was
Was it
18 up
18?
up in Purdue at night. Um,
Yeah, and they had that little guy that was killing us that night.
oh,
I don't
he
know.
murdered us.
You have to, if you got the Google machine, you can Google what that guy's name is. But I don't remember. But I remember thinking, man, we don't have enough of those guys. Those littler guys that just can scoot and kind of do it. And Turbo's, I mean, Turbo's one of those guys. We have one of those toys now. Now the question is, can Ohio State figure out how to deploy them? We've always, the old adage about putting guys in space and getting the ball, and what can they do with it and stuff like that. But Turbo's a guy that's turning a lot of heads because he's just so darn elusive. I mean, he's super elusive, hard to get a clean shot on. And if he has even a little bit of an edge on you, whether it be inside or the outside, man, he goes. And he's broken off a bunch of long runs already, a number of little screen passes as well, where he's doing stuff. So Turbo Rogers definitely a guy to net, and we haven't had many guys like Turbo Rogers here at Ohio State in the past.
Yeah, no, it was Rondale Moore
That that that
who
that, that
killed us. I mean, I remember I forget who the safety was. He's the one who transferred, I believe. And he tried to, remember earlier I talked about you can't tackle James Peoples high. Well, Rondale Moore, he tried to tackle Rondale Moore high and just get off me, little boy, and scored. I don't know if you remember that play, Nevada. That game
well,
was
that was ugly. That was
it's
ugly. That
so
was terrible.
embarrassing. And then
It was
Devon
so bad.
Hamilton, I know he's in the NFL now making a lot of money, but remember he cartwheeled into the punter and got a 50-yard
Yeah,
penalty. That
yeah,
game was a house of horrors. And so,
yeah.
yeah, but anyway, you're right. We got the Turbo Rogers now. We
Yeah,
got
but
the
let me just, I don't want to take this too far afield, but like, something, welcome to playing in the freaking Big Ten. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Night game on the road. And that's why this whole thing about, when people don't understand what this big thing is about, 9 conference games versus 8 conference games for the SEC, that's the problem. The problem is we're not playing Mercer. We're not
right.
playing Furman. We're not playing, whatever. We're playing at Purdue at night, or, at Iowa, or at, you know what I'm saying? And those games may look easy on paper, but you go there and try to play. And if you're not bringing your A game, if you're not quite ready, the things start going away, things can go really bad really quickly. Whereas a game like Furman, there's no scenario where that game's ever going to go bad. Ever, ever, ever. The only question is, are you going to win by 35? Are you going to win by 45? Or are you going to win by 25? That's the only question there.
Right.
But these additional conference games in the Big Ten, that's what makes, when they talk about scheduling and they talk about the toughest thing, man, the SEC only doing 8 conference games. Their 8 conference games may be tougher, but our 9, by, in composite, it's just infinitely tougher than having a bye, because basically that ninth game for them is a bye.
Yeah.
And they've got to fix that up, because you do occasionally get bushwhacked at a place like at Purdue, and you and I are still talking about that game years later. We still have
Yeah.
post-traumatic stress disorder over that stupid game, because that's what the way it is. And this year, I'm telling people, people are like, oh, schedule, whatever, at Washington, at
At Illinois.
Illinois,
Scary.
at Wisconsin, at Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Those those are the real deal, guys, man. All 4 of those games are the real deal. And if you've never been to Washington, I'm telling you, that's going to be a night game, or a late game. It's going to be crazy. Illinois and Wisconsin, I wouldn't be surprised if those are both back-to-back night games. And it gets crazy up there. So big disadvantage. But I'm taking this thing far afield from Turbo Rogers. But I'm sure glad we've got a Turbo Rogers, because maybe he can win a game for us this year. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Hey, and he was back there on punt returns as well. So I think honestly, I think they see something in him, because I saw Ryan Day really hyping him up during practice. Like, just how a coach can see something in the young guy, and he's just like, hey, come on, Turbo, let's go. Like, Turbo looks the part out there. I mean, he hits the hole now. and he physically looks ready. I mean, he's not scrawny or anything, and he wasn't even here. He just got here in the summer. So yeah, I mean, we have an embarrassment of riches, inexperienced, but still an embarrassment of riches. But but even just hopping back to Donaldson, I saw a difference in the spring game, how he was hitting the hole. From what we were hearing, in winter, and just what he was doing, his size, he dropped all that weight. He looked good in the spring game. You know what I'm saying? So CJ Donaldson, one thing I saw with him in practice is he was a load to bring down. I mean, a load for guys. Even the Sonny Styles and those. I mean, like he was a load. So that's a nice 1-2 punch right there. CJ Donaldson doesn't have to be an All-American, but I think he's going to be really, really good and really, really solid, especially in short yardage. But back to Peoples, though. I think Peoples, you look at his high school film, and then even you said it earlier, Nevada, he can catch the ball. Like, he's a good receiver. So I can see him being used like Henderson out of the backfield. Because, Henderson is cooking Patriots defense in their camp right now. Not just in the backfield, but catching passes downfield. So, yeah, I'm excited. And one thing I'll say is that this offense can be really, really good if Peoples is just solid and a good back. Just imagine if he is on his way to being the next great running back and he just exceeds the sort of, he should be good, but our receivers, though, expectations. And so that's something to look out for because, again, the people in the WAC that we talk to, that we listen to, that we hear from, they really, really love James Peoples, and they see him as the next great running back. That's not even a guess. I'm telling you they do. It's just a matter of it being revealed to the public. So I'm just saying, like, people's expectations, if you're not that high on him, like, this team could be a whole nother level if he fulfills what the coaches and players think he can do inside the facility, Nevada.
Well, I'm trying to think about a time, you always think about times where we've had great running backs or we've had great, individual wide receivers or wide receivers collectively. Um, but when you really look at Ohio State and you kind of go, okay, you could make an argument for this being the best wide receiving core ever at Ohio State.
Yeah.
I mean that's not hyperbole, right? I mean that's a legitimate
No.
hypothesis, right? And
Yeah.
and then I'll say we have Max Clare and a group of other guys that can really play at tight end. Maybe the best tight end room in Ohio State. I mean, I'm just, you're talking about a guy, Max Clare,
Yes.
who's a preseason first team All-American at tight end, you know. And so now you lack the credibility. We don't have Trey Henderson, we don't have Quinshon Judkins, we don't have Ezekiel Elliott back there running back right now. But if to your point, if we get any kind of production out of the running back position, and you pair that with a wide receiver room that is in the argument for being the best one of all time, and a tight end room that's in the argument for being one of the best of all time, man. With an experienced offensive line, I mean, it's very few offensive lines that have returned four starters from a national championship team and added another starter from another division. Ethan from Rice, and so, I mean, I know everybody's all high in the offseason. Everybody, everybody's undefeated, and every
Right.
team hasn't lost a game, hasn't had a negative play, hasn't had a turnover, and everything. But I mean, am I missing something, or could this OSU offense just be incredibly prolific? I mean, you've got question marks at quarterback just because he hasn't played,
Yeah.
and I think a big one that we don't talk about a lot is we've got a question mark at offensive coordinator because Brian Hartling's never called a play before. And I think that this is part of us being sober and being realistic and being fact based as we discuss the thing. That's a big question mark because look, if it was easy, if being an offensive coordinator was easy, everybody would do it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Everybody would just want, oh, it doesn't matter who the offensive coordinator that just throws somebody in there and do it. But it's not easy. And Brian's never done it before. And he's trying to do it while still coaching the wide receivers. So, how much of an issue do you think that's going to be for the Ohio State off. I mean, we do have the safety blanket of Ryan Day, one of the great offensive minds in all of college football being there, which again, that's a something.
Yeah,
But we do have a couple of question marks. But if they pull it together, they figure this thing out, man. I just don't see how this Ohio State offense couldn't be just one of the most prolific, in school history, because all the pieces are there.
definitely. And real quick, and I want to respond to that, but I want to read some quotes. So, former players who are now in the NFL right now, these are their thoughts on Peoples. This is Lathan Ransom. I think James Peoples is a dog. Ransom said that young running back coming up, he's going to make a lot of plays. Just a hard worker, a dude that runs every time, hard every time he gets a chance. And he's a big running back and tough to get down in that open field. He would know. He smacks cats, so he would know. And he said he's going to make a lot of plays. And then Judkins said he's fast, a bigger back. I would say just a talented guy. And he said he's going to make plays for sure. You'll see. So, and there's some other quotes from Henderson praising him, but a lot of praise from some really, really good talents. So there's that, so don't sleep on Peoples is the overall message that we're ringing here. But to your point, Nevada, about the offense, and that's, I like how you kind of like, okay, best wide receiver room ever, maybe best tight end room. I mean, as you kind of say it like that, it kind of brings it home. And listen, probably if not the best O-line that we might have in years. Would you add that to the table? I mean, I don't know if you said that. If you did, I missed it. But what you think?
Well, it's certainly one of the most experienced. Certainly, again,
Yes.
four starters from a national championship team the previous year, a fifth starter that you added from Rice. It's a deep, it's a deep offensive line room, and maybe you lack the big, you don't have the Orlando pace, or that guy that's the surefire preseason All-American or whatever it is. But I mean, Austin's a guy I mean, they've had Austin repping left tackle on
Yeah,
top
I
of
saw
right.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean they like him a lot. And I think you've got an offensive line that's just got a lot of, that you've got so much depth, which is kind of funny considering all the conversations we've had over the previous years
Right.
about lack of recruiting, lack of recruiting prowess. Why don't we do this? We'll never beat Alabama with these guys, blah, blah, and all this silliness. And now you and I are looking at an offensive line coming off a national championship that might be one of the best lines is going. So it's just kind of like, I mean, look, guys, can you guys just finally just say once and for all that we were right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, like, guys, I mean, like, there's being right and there's being right. Like, come on, we won the freaking national championship last year with this line, and we're preseason number 2. And we got like 12 guys in line. And last year we went to guy number 9, had the Remington Award winner, Jimmy Josh Simmons, who's the next Trent Williams in the NFL. I mean, it's like, come on.
But
Like, come
now it's
on.
shifted to the D line now, Nevada. We gotta suffer through the,
Oh my
so
goodness.
we'll
Oh
see.
no.
But anyway, that's all another, I ain't gonna open up those can of worms, but yes, I mean, to your point. So I mean, I guess to bring it around, I guess I'm making the point that yes, Sagan is not as experienced as Will Howard was, but I think most talent evaluators would probably say he has a higher ceiling throwing the ball. So he's not there yet as far as experience and proving it out, but talent wise, higher ceiling wise, arguably he should have a higher trajectory. So you just kind of add all of that up and you say, okay, if James Peoples is as good as the coaches and players think he is, then I would say most of our fans are kind of underselling or not truly understanding what could be on the horizon, right? And that's what we're kind of saying. And so, yeah, Peoples, man, I'm super excited about James Peoples and this running back room in general. But again, they're behind a offensive line that I believe is going to be stout. So I said the other day, I'm more excited about the defense, and that still holds true right now, just because it kind of goes day to day. But now I'm starting to get excited about this offense again. I'm excited about both. But yeah, man, Peoples, what we've heard about Peoples from some people, from what we've heard about Peoples from some peoples that would know and that we trust, and that like, yes, it's been like, okay, Okay, let's get it. Let's get it cracking, man. I'm waiting to see him in the open field just exploding, and so I'm very excited about James Peoples, Nevada.
Yeah, no, I'm like I said, this offense, we always try to, one of the hallmarks of the show is we always try to be honest with you guys, and we'll tell you when to be excited, we'll tell you when to be scared. Well, we've talked about the scariness of the schedule. We've talked about the scariness of the uncertainty of the coordinators. We'll give you the truth here. But in terms of the talent of the team and the potential for this group, man, it's off the chart. I mean, you have every right as a fan to be very excited about this 2025 team. And I've said this a million times, but in 2026, we're going to be better. In 2026 we're going to be better because
Yes.
a lot of these key guys are going to be back, and and more experienced and bigger, faster, stronger. So it's going to be a heck of a year if we can somehow manage to to just navigate these landmines, the landmines of a very difficult schedule, the landmines of a huge out of conference game with Texas. If we can just somehow get into the playoff, then man, we're
Yeah.
going to be a tough out. We're going to be a tough out because by then those guys aren't freshmen anymore. They're not inexperienced anymore. They're not rookies anymore. They're grizzled veterans. And to your point about a guy like Julian Sain, I mean, Julian Sain is not Will Howard because Will Howard had 38 starts coming in before he came here. Um, but Julian Sain, you guys will all see. He can spin it as well as anybody that's ever played quarterback at Ohio State. Now, will he be as good as anybody at quarterback? That's yet to be seen. We got to see how he does under the bright lights and in front of the crowds. And can he manage the thing? Can he control his nerves? But in terms of just pure arm talent, throwing the ball, um, I mean, he's he's unbelievable. I mean, he's like really, really, really special. Um, but yeah, special arm talent doesn't always mean being a great player, but I think he's going to be because he's a fast processor, smart kid, and just classically trained. He's been doing this for a really long time, and I think
Yeah.
he's the right guy to manage this offense and to take us through the tough times.
And he's continuing the tradition of Elite 11 quarterbacks coming to Ohio State, winning the Elite 11. So there's that. And he's not a statue, y'all. Seeing him run a little bit in the games, like, okay, he's not slow, but seeing him in person, like right up on him, take off. I'm not saying he's like Braxton Miller, but he is not slow. Like he can pick up a first down quick. Okay. But real quick, not to get completely off track, but it's relevant. I've already started my watching of Arch Manning. I still got a lot more to go, but watching the cut ups of the clips that I was watching, and let me see. I want to make sure I give a shout out to who sent me the clips, and it was on the school board SC Buckeye 88. Thank you. He sent me a nice cut up of Arch Manning, and so listen, he's talented. His legs are scary. You see his highlight plays of him getting an open field. He broke one dude off and took it to the crib. He has some eye-popping plays. He's made some nice throws, but he also has some deer in headlight plays. He holds on to the ball. Now, listen, he's had a whole winter and spring. These are things he had better got, improved before he comes to the shoe. He holds on to the ball. He doesn't seem from what I saw from last year, his processing needs to speed up quicker. And yeah, holding on to the ball too long is the main thing that jumped out to me. You can definitely get to him, rattle him. How much has he improved? We'll see. But it's not all big runs and splash plays. He had some plays where it's like, okay, yeah, Arvell Reese barreling down on him, when he's back there trying to throw on our secondary. We'll see how he handles that. But it should be interesting, man. Very interesting battle. And I'm saying this because you know what you said about Sain, but it's Arch is getting all the attention. And so Sain has a really shot to really snatch the highlight reel, or snatch the I guess the game, just as far as like who comes out of it as the guy. And I know you've already predicted that. And so I'm just saying, we're gonna see how Arch handles this defense, man. I'm excited.
Well, look, to me, I think I always say to the fans, you talk about what you can do as a fan to help, and there's very few things as a fan you think criticizing players on a message board is going to inspire them or something. No, no, that's not going to help. You can do two things. You can donate money to NIL, or you can come to the game and make noise. Those are the two things you can do. So, like for the fans that come to the Texas game, let's make some noise. Let's
Yes.
just you know what I'm saying? Like let's continue the energy that 70,000 of us had at the Tennessee game where we brought it. Man, we
Yeah, we
brought we brought the house that night. We brought it. And it's like now we got a full, we got a full 100,000 of us. Let I mean, it is possible if the Ohio State fans really came and brought it, they could rattle Arch Manning beyond belief. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
you talk about those deer in it, like he could completely soil himself out there in the field. If the Ohio State fans did it, and it's like, man, like Ohio State fans, let's bring it. Let's bring our A game, even though it's not a night game, even though it's a noon game, even though it's the first game of the season, even though it might be hot and B Moses may be perspiring or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's bring the noise because you've got a quarterback in their side. He's not Peyton Manning. He's not Eli Manning. He's not Archie Manning. He's Arch Manning. And he's beaten Louisiana Monroe and Mississippi State, and let's make it really uncomfortable for him to play because I think that's something. You talk about the storylines we've talked about saying, and we talked about the defense and Patricia and Hartline and this and that. But man, how about the crowd? How about the crowd just bring it one time
Yeah.
on that Saturday, and we can take we can take the game out against Grambling and Ohio U. You
Yeah.
can B Moses can get back to the wine and cheese group that you're there. You know what I'm saying, like that.
My pinky
But
in the
like
air.
for the pinky in the air, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're a fancy lad. I know that. But for Texas, man, let's bring it, and look, you were there at Tennessee. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, my
You remember
my
how how
voice
how
was
freaking
gone.
how freaking cold it was that night, and it was a weird feeling going to that game. Not feeling we had no idea what team was going to show up. I mean, it was just weird. The whole thing was weird, and we brought it, man.
Yeah.
Every one of us that was there brought it that night.
Yes, you are correct. I mean, my voice was gone. I sounded like a 89-year-old chain smoker named Ethel after that game. I could not speak. So it's going to be the same thing. And listen, Nevada's trying to get y'all pumped up. So heed his call. Like, do it. I know I'm gonna be like crazy. So I got confidence in this crowd, Nevada, that they're gonna show up for this noon game. Shout out to Justin Spiro, who's a regular listener of the show. He's in the chat. What's up, brother? He just released another video on his Twitter that is just another Scorsese level production. Make sure you check that out. But yeah, Spiro in the chat. And speaking of chats, we can really slide into super chats if you'd like.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Even though I am kind of intrigued by the idea of you as an 89-year-old woman named Ethel after the Tennessee game, but I trust that you brought it, man. I trust that you brought it. I
Oh
I saw
yeah,
you heckling those Tennessee fans and stuff like that and
that
representing.
was
So that
beautiful.
was I was proud of you, man.
Yes,
Proud of
they
you.
it that was real quick. I'm telling you, that experience was just magnificent because again, at the beginning of the game, they were talking reckless. They came in our stadium talking reckless, and just imagine all the Tennessee fans around me, and we take off like we did. What was it, 21-0? Then I mean, like it was just they just got quieter and quieter, and then of course the crowd with the SEC chants. And I got a booming voice. I command, and I was just up in everybody. I was basically leading my section. I was leading my section into just and killing them with just trolling and just chanting and like y'all quiet, y'all quiet. I mean, I wish they would have recorded that because that was just it was great. So yes, I will be on one in the Texas game for sure, no doubt. All right.
Love it.
Wholesome necessity. Thanks for the 4.99. NCAA really letting Team Up North go through fall camp without a verdict is crazy and unfair to the players who never participated in the cheating. Nevada?
I mean, well, it was kind of they shouldn't have cheated in the first place. It was kind of unfair, like I always hear these arguments about the poor kids that, this and that. Every time I see those videos of them all pointing in the air and doing the synchronized dancing, and we all know that Joey Velasquez, who was guy number 175 on the roster, he knew all about the thing too. You know what I'm saying? Because he was the whistleblower, right? He was a whistleblower. He knew all about the scheme, and Central Michigan knew about the scheme, but Jim Harbaugh didn't know about the scheme. But no, yeah, I look. There's a process that's playing out. This entire thing from revelation of the scandal to disposition of final punishment is going to happen in under 24 months. That is fast. It's
Yeah.
fast for any form of litigation, any form of civil action. That is really fast. So, this isn't justice delayed, is justice denied, or anything like that, or punishing any innocent kids. Every kid that's come to Michigan, this has all been public record. Their agents, if they don't know, they should have known, and
Yep.
and they can transfer out afterwards. So, hey, sucks for them, but they made their beds, and now they got to lay down in it.
Straight like that. Amen. Flat out. And just real quick, Braxton Miller and Zach Boren and those guys back in 2010 and 2011, they were kept in 2012. They were kept out of the national championship because of someone else's mistakes. Like nobody was crying a river for our Buckeyes, who would have certainly beat Notre Dame to win a natty because we had a bowl ban. You feel me? So like Nevada said, don't cheat. Like I have no sorrow for them at all. Like flat out. And that's not even just because I hate them, which I do, but you cheated. This is what happens when your institution doesn't handle things correctly and monitor your program. So that's my response.
And let me say, I read one of the great responses of all time on the internet. The internet sometimes is undefeated, but somebody had written something, because there's this whole theory of how Ohio State's in trouble now, the Joey Velasquez thing, and then we're going to
Yeah,
forfeit this, we're going to do that. And somebody wrote, man, Ohio State's getting in a lot of trouble for somebody else's multi-year cheating scandal. And I don't know why that just made me laugh so hard. It's like,
that's
yeah,
funny.
only Michigan fans could conjure that up in their mind. Oh yeah, we cheated for 3 years. Oh, you're gonna get in trouble. It's like, oh, holy guacamole! Come on, man.
The level of delusion with this whole thing, Nevada, that we've endured. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's going to be a great day when the hammer finally drops because we've been on the front lines of this foolishness. All
Tomorrow,
right. Yeah, for Friday is one of the most common days
Friday,
it drops. So
that is true.
it could be tomorrow. So we gonna see. Roll 410. Thanks for the 499. Arch Manning home opener rematch of semifinals. Jeremiah Smith defending champs. Is this game bigger than the 2005 matchup? Ooh, good question. See, it's hard. I'm gonna start this off. It's really hard because we have the gift of hindsight. Okay. We at that time, we know Vince Young was good, but we didn't know he was going to go and end up in that classic game against USC to win the national title and in the Heisman. He won the Heisman, didn't he? I'm tripping. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So we just did. I mean, we have that hindsight now. So I guess I'll take it from just a snapshot build up of the matchup. I'm going to say yes. And the only reason why I say yes is because it's the first game of the year. Okay. So we don't get to see either of these teams play before they play. And we won the national championship last year. Arch Manning's been anointed. Yeah, Jeremiah Smith. That I'm going to say yes. Screw it. What you think, Nevada?
Well, wasn't '05, and maybe I'm just, I'm just totally forgetting something really obvious, but was that the first time we'd ever played Texas in '05?
I think it was.
I don't remember us. I don't
Let
know
me
when
see
we
if I
would have
can
played
Google
them.
it.
Yeah, but I was at that game. That was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, in every way. Um, I think what gives the edge to '05 for me was the night game, which back then '05 night games were still pretty new. You know what I'm saying? That was
Yeah.
still pretty new. And the atmosphere was, just, off the chart. Um, so I'm going to give the edge just because of the benefit of hindsight to '05. But I think 25 could beat it if we bring it. If we bring, we bring the atmosphere. I think because I think the poster's exactly right. I mean, Arch Manning, Jeremiah Smith, 1 versus 2. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why. It's certainly the biggest home opener in the history of
Yeah.
Ohio State football. Probably the biggest home opener, the biggest opener in the history of college football.
Yikes.
I mean, there's never been a 1 versus 2, and with the defending national champion. I mean, so I
Yeah.
mean, and again, I'm not trying to be Captain Hyperbole, but there's never been a
Nah.
1 versus 2 to open the season before. So by definition, I think it's the biggest opener in the history of college football.
Yeah, that's good. And you're right. '06 was the first year. I'm sorry, '05. And then of course we played them in '06 and then '09. So yeah, I didn't realize that, or at least I remember now as I take my mind back that it was the first time. But yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point, man. The point is both are going to be huge. And it's crazy that it's been 20 years now since that game. All right. Pinky in the house. What's good, Pinky? Thanks for the 999. You rattle Arch by pressuring him and forcing him to make fast decisions. Sack him or force him to have to act without thinking. Force him to make mistakes. Yeah, for sure. So that's going to be, like Nevada said, the crowd is going to make a huge difference. Okay. Huge difference is the crowd. Obviously, Matt Patricia bringing pressures and mixing things up and confusing him pre-snap. And then, of course, our defensive line getting after it and our linebackers getting after it. And, of course, our secondary covering well because, like Patricia just said the other day in an interview, coverage is the best pressure. If our secondary, which I believe back there with Caleb Downs roaming around along with, Matthews and Iggy and our safeties back there, if we can make it really hard for their receivers to get open, our guys are going to get home. And we're going to have a plan for Arch because, again, we're not going to let him run all over us. Now, I will say, Arch, after watching him a little bit, he is not a statue as far as he's not just a straight line speed guy. He can get you in the open field, but he's not Braxton Miller. So if our guys are gap sound, our guys, don't over pursue, he's going to have to find a crease to really get out and open, or he's not escaping the arms of Arvell Reese, for example, or CJ Hicks. So we got plenty of speed on defense to combat Arch Manning, but the key is going to make sure that we make it really tough on him to process back there and read and allow our guys time to get to him. But yes, starts with the crowd though. So y'all better hear what Nevada's saying. Make it loud, y'all. I know I'm gonna lose my voice again. So I'm gonna be on the podcast with the super chain smoker raspy joint, and it's all good. So
Yeah, well, yeah, and he's no Vince Young. I mean, Vince Young was a guy that could run like a deer and throw the ball. I mean, Arch, like you said, he's escapable. He can do stuff, but and rolling Caleb up to the nickel. We've talked about this on previous shows. That's an Arch Manning deterrent as well because we've got a lot of guys around the line that can run really, really well, and he sure as heck ain't gonna run away from Caleb. So
no, he's not.
no,
Or Reese or Hicks.
no.
And shoot, I would even say Sonny, if he's in the right position. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, very, very fun. But that's it for the super chats. But I'll just again end this and say, James Peoples, I'm expecting big things for this young man. Not just running through the tackles or running on the edge, but catching the ball out of the backfield. Watch for him to have a Henderson type of impact because Henderson made a lot of plays out of the backfield, y'all, catching the ball. So I'm super excited about this team, and I'm excited that the staff and these players are excited. It's always great to hear information like that because as a fan, it just gets you even more pumped up. So any last things to say, Nevada, before we head out?
Well, just remember in the spring game, I think we ran more screens than we've run in like the past 10 years. I think didn't we start off the game with a screen and
Yep,
then ran like another screen. I mean, Heartline loves the screen, and
he does.
a guy like Peoples can do the screen. I'm just saying, I'm not giving away the game plan. I'm just saying you might want to watch for some screen passes because we'll be running them this year.
Yep. So have my peoples call your peoples and we'll do lunch. That was corny, wasn't it? But I had to get it out. It's peoples, you know, it's too
I
many
love you were
peoples
waiting.
jokes.
You were waiting for that one all.
I was itching, like just
Itching,
the
man, itching.
opportune time. But yes, listen, another great show, fun show. We are closer to kickoff and game time. We're also closer to the hammer. Listen, we've waited this long. We're gonna keep on waiting. If it's not tomorrow, cool. It'll be next week. Not next week. It'll be we're within the 30-day window. We are at the 60-day between the 30 to 9-day window. We are at day 60, I believe, today. So it's coming, y'all. We know it's coming. We're waiting for it, but at least we know there is a deadline. And so we got the season coming up and we got the hammer coming up. So, hey, and when it drops, we'll be here to talk about it. So, but yeah. All right. Well, listen, we out of here. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Love y'all. God bless you, Buckeye Scoop. Peace. Go Bucks.